Today to learn more about creating your wellness vision. I'm Michelle, and I'm one of the dietitians and health coaches with Premise Health. Only the first paragraph here is important. Okay, I'm going to start with a question. How do we create new things? We start with imagining. Whenever we have anything new or different, for example, a new flavor of coffee or a piece of jewelry or the design of a car, someone had to imagine it. Someone had to picture it in their mind. And today, I want you to be open to imagining something that doesn't yet exist. Imagine something different, being better, being your best, or having evolved to the next level. It's important to dream here, not to overthink it. It's actually time to turn off the executive function part of our brain, that prefrontal cortex, and turn on the visual machinery in the back of the brain, the creative part. That's what we'll do today. Imagine yourself at your highest level of well-being. How great would it be if that were true? It can be hard to let ourselves go there, though, right? It's hard to dream and then not have it come true. It's like setting yourself up. And we don't like to be in that place and risking failure. But it's important to take that leap in creating a wellness vision. An example of this creative process is from the Cleveland Clinic. It's called appreciative inquiry. What you appreciate appreciates, meaning to fully understand the worth or importance of something or someone. If you appreciate possibilities, appreciate your vision, appreciate your lessons, your strengths, what's good in you, and what's good in other people, it appreciates. And this technique lights up the brain, the creative part, and it strengthens your ability to learn and be creative. A wellness vision can help you get and stay focused on what it feels like to look and be your best self. It's a compelling statement of what you're willing to do consistently to achieve that highest or even higher level. Creating this vision should be a thoughtful and personal process. So this isn't like other vision or mission statements you might have heard of before or created yourself. Something all business-like, aspirational, inspirational, describing the future. They can come across sounding kind of generic when you're done. But this isn't your run-of-the-mill vision statement. This is a wellness vision statement. And this is your wellness vision. To me, wellness is a dynamic process. It's about change and growth. So, starting where you are now, what is wellness to you? Is it simply the opposite of illness? Or is it more than that? Let's look more at that appreciative inquiry process where we define, discover, dream, design, and realize our destiny. What happens in our typical authoritative top-down model where day to day we identify a problem, we think of how to fix it. We focus on here's where we should be, here's what we should be doing. But there's this big gap between what I know to do and what I'm actually doing. So why am I not doing it? I could start by asking you to think of what is your biggest problem, but then you'd be coming at this from the negative, what's lacking or what's missing. It's kind of human nature to have a bias toward the negative. The brain wants to solve problems, but this can drain our creativity. It's okay in small doses to be a problem solver, but we don't want to live there. Instead, and we'll start by asking you, What do you appreciate? What do you value? And even what makes you thrive? Are you happy, focused, energized, organized, active, or content? What do you want to appreciate so you can watch it appreciate? First, define. Affirm your top choice of what makes you thrive or what you want to strive for. Discovery is being open to the impossible. Dreaming is an envisioning results yourself in a new place at a higher level. Design is about constructing or co-constructing with your coach, setting up short-term goals or strategies to create new habits and new outcomes. Destiny is sustaining the change, maintaining your new habits and behaviors, and feeling that reward for your effort. Building a plan for success. So we'll take a closer look at creating a wellness vision. What are the actionable behaviors and strategies you'll use? And defining the difference between short and long-term goals, or the difference between short-term goals and outcome goals. So think about what your vision looks like. Paint yourself a picture in your mind as best as you can. What would it look and feel like at your ideal level of wellness? Healthy looks different and feels different for everyone. What kind of person do you want to be when it comes to your health, your fitness level, your overall wellness? Envisioning and imagining helps you be creative, and it serves as a catalyst to move your values into actions. Through the wellness visioning process, you identify the most important things to you, what you really value. Some people like to use vision boards or sketches, affirmations, or even songs to keep track of ideas. As you think of ideas, you can practice the zoom in, zoom out technique. Zooming in is when we look closely at details of what you need to do daily. What are those small changes? Zooming out is looking at the big picture. Where do you want to be in weeks or months or even years from now? Your short-term goals, actions, or strategies are the practices you create and do in the short term. Your outcome goals are the long-term results that you want. That's your big picture. So it's those daily goals, actions, strategies, habits, however you want to frame it, that done consistently gets you to your outcome goals. Your outcome goal might be something like losing weight or lowering your cholesterol, becoming a regular exerciser, but how you get there is through the actions you take, your short-term goals. It's an important distinction. A wellness vision can help you stay focused on actions and your outcome goals by separating it like that. Once you define your vision, I encourage you to be creative. You might choose to draw, paint, color, or if you're musical, even write a song. Obviously, YouTube, Pinterest, Google Images will have ideas for your vision boards. Whatever you choose, it should create energy and motivation. It also may not be obvious to others, and that's okay. It should be personal. You want to have fun with it. Even a cell phone lock screen can act as a portable vision board. Perhaps you've tried vision boards in the past and you might wonder if they really work all that well. Well, they can, but there's a few things to remember to make them the most productive. If you gather too many pictures, it might lack focus. If you spend a lot of time gathering pictures but don't start forming that vision, then it's more like motion without action. If you're not clear about what you want, it won't be as helpful. It's also not good if you complete a vision board and then keep it someplace where you're not seeing it all the time, or even sharing it with people that will support you can be beneficial. And also, if you created something, but still it lacks a true association and connection with your values, it won't be as productive for you. So make it feel authentic. Once you have it completed, keep it visible. Create that daily reminder of moving toward your vision. So brainstorming, visualizing, and experimenting. Let's look at the process used to develop your wellness vision. This is going to include possibly behaviors or actions, strengths, your feelings, definitely what your values are, maybe even relationships. As your vision comes together, it should give you confidence and energy and a feeling of authenticity. Brainstorm everything you want for your future self. Think of all the possibilities. No one ever has to see these lists. So use visualization techniques, daydream, practice affirmations, experiment. Start walking down the path mentally to get you there. What could you try for smaller behavior-related goals? Begin with wherever you are. There's no step too small. Don't start with where your friends are. Any readiness to change model will let you know if this is the right time for you. You might be in contemplation stage, for instance, and you might need to think about the answers to the questions on our next slide before you're even ready for taking action. And that's okay. Working with a coach can help with determining what stage of change you're in and what an achievable goal might look like. When we get excited about making changes, it's common to take on too much at first. Then if it's not completed the way we envision it, we can feel like we're failing. But that's an all or nothing approach or kind of black and white thinking, and it can be a trap. A small step approach can make all the difference in creating the confidence to keep going. So even if a day or more feels like you got off track, small steps are better, and thinking better is better than perfect can help us avoid that black and white or all or nothing trap. So this is about progress, not perfection. So what do you need to ask yourself? What is your why? Let's go through the process. Let's say what's important to you is weight loss. Your motivation for that might also be to have more energy to keep up with grandkids or do other activities you enjoy, or improve your blood pressure or cholesterol. When creating your wellness vision, start by asking yourself, what does that ideal level of health and wellness look like for me? Health and wellness looks different for everyone. What would you be doing in that ideal state? What would you be doing more of? Or what would you be doing less of? What strengths can you draw upon to achieve your vision? What successes have you had in the past? This can be a really important exercise. We tend to eventually normalize or minimize even amazing achievements. So think of all your accomplishments. What are you proud of that you've done or that you've gotten through, and draw strength from those things. When you figure out your why, it serves as your main motivator. These are the things or the reasons that make you want to change. There's an author named Viktor Frankl, and he wrote, if you have your why, you can deal with almost any how. So defining your why. Write down the reasons why achieving what you brainstormed is important to you. Include serious reasons and silly reasons, anything that makes the vision important to you. You're building and defining your why. It's your health and wellness vision. It should only include the things that you want for your health, not what others want. Your motivators or your motivation can be internal or external. Internal motivators, what's emanating from within you. These are your reasons for wanting to change, such as wanting to feel more confident and comfortable, having more energy to do the things you want to do. External motivators are reasons that others want you to change and may come from a doctor's advice or societal pressure or a concerned family member. These all come from outside of you. And while well-intended, your internal motivators are more likely to result in positive changes to your overall habits and behaviors. So for this, cross off those external reasons. Once you achieve this list, you can start to visualize and dream and imagine yourself having achieved this image of yourself. Let's do another example. Consider losing weight. I'll probably keep using that example. Perhaps your doctor stated they would like you to lose weight because it would help you with whatever. It could help with potentially lots of things. But you'd also like to see some weight loss, maybe because you feel you could be more active then. If so, you may have written something like, I want to lose 20 pounds on your brainstorm list. Okay, let's think about the reasons why losing 20 pounds is on your brainstorm list. If your vision is based on weight, then your vision may only be focused on the number on the scale. But is this really what matters? I sense you might be thinking that it is because that's what you want. But my guess is no, that it's not the number that matters. You care about what the scale number represents to you. You want to get back to how you felt or maybe looked or what you could do at that weight or number. What if in this example, your vision was focused on what weight loss represents to you instead of the weight? If you focus on just the number, you may overlook what you really want, which is to feel better or be more active or fill in the blank. You might also get distracted from recognizing other positive changes that occur when we're making those good habits more consistent. Even if that scale number doesn't budge, there could be other things that are positive changes, and you want to be able to recognize those. Like your clothes fitting a little looser, getting better sleep, or having more energy. It's difficult to shift your thinking away from the weight when you may have been focused on weight for years. Give yourself some time to think about this and learn to reject the diet culture message that says to focus on the numbers. Health coaching is a great place to work on getting rid of those diet culture messages. Let's look at challenges. Everyone perceives obstacles, challenges, or distractions that get in the way of our progress toward our visions. Because most of us have pretty well-developed stories about what our obstacles or challenges are and how impossible it may be to make changes. You could try this exercise. In 30 seconds, write down as many obstacles as you can to getting what you want. Money, time, lack of motivation. The point is to get out of your old story and into the realm of possibility, using your creativity and imagination. Using the same idea now, list potential strategies for getting around these obstacles. These don't have to be commitments, just a range of ideas. Some might even sound crazy on the face of it, ideas that might help you just get around, over, through your obstacles. Don't overthink it here, just write. No idea is too outrageous because in that crazy idea might just be a grain of possibility. When you're done with these steps, you'll have a shorter list of things that are important to you, and you'll be more clear on why they're important to you. So along the line of challenges, let's look at what might be getting in your way. It's worth looking at how we're spending our time. We don't necessarily not have enough time. We all know we make time for what's important to us. So really think about what you could be doing less of or having less of so that you could have more of what you really want. Sometimes we really have to start at the beginning and clear a space in our minds or even in our lives or our homes or wherever to have the best chance of creating a wellness vision that really works for you. That graph in the middle shows quite a trajectory. If it was still climbing at that same rate, we'd be possibly up to 3 hours per day. I know some people are more than that. 70% of people under 35 say they're addicted to their phones, according to Margaret Moore, CEO and founder of Well Coaches. And it's not just about stuff or time. What about our self-talk? What do we say to ourselves that stops us from getting what we want? Do you have an internal judge? I hope you're thinking yes, because we all do. According to the Positive Intelligence book by Shirzad Chamine, we not only have internal judges, but we have to, to some extent, have a host of saboteurs that support our mental judges. We may have these internal saboteurs that say we need to be constantly vigilant or a perfectionist or critical of ourselves, because if we aren't hard on ourselves, then we'll just turn into a sloth. It's not true, of course, but that's what these saboteurs can convince us of. So if you're interested, you could take the saboteur quiz at positiveintelligence.com and see what saboteurs you might have that might be working against you. You could also check out Shirzad's TED Talk on YouTube. If you have 20 minutes and 31 seconds to spare, I highly recommend that talk. The idea behind his book is that we need to exercise and strengthen the creative and intellectual part of our brain, because all the saboteurs and judges live in a fear-based part of our brain. We can work to weaken them. This is all just another way to help you show some self-compassion, learn what may be holding you back, and allowing your mind to clear to see your challenges as an opportunity. This opportunity to create a clear wellness vision for yourself. We can learn to have less negative self-talk. When you can limit distractions and self-judgment, you will have a much better flow of creativity and energy. So you've probably seen SMART goals listed, maybe in a financial area. You might have used SMART goals, but we'll try using them for setting our small daily goals. So the process gets moved into more detailed setting. The key is to define the goals with specifics like how and what and when. There's various methods for creating SMART goals. The key is to starting them small, stating the detail, and including how often and when you'll complete each goal by. A specific goal has a much greater chance of being accomplished than a general one. A general one might sound like, I'm going to start eating more vegetables. But a specific one would say, I'm going to start adding frozen spinach to my smoothies. Or I will buy and try a new vegetable each week for 2 months. Measurable goals. How will you know when you've reached it? You want to be able to see and celebrate your progress as it occurs. You can assess the outcomes as either a hit or miss or a sliding scale, using 1 to 10, how well was it accomplished? So in the previous example, you may say, I added spinach 5 out of 7 days that week to my smoothie. Or you might feel that you had about an 80% success rate that week and rate yourself 8 out of 10. Measuring is just tracking your progress, like taking inventory. It's not about judgment. And we always want progress over perfection. That gets us away again from that all or nothing thinking. Better is better than perfect. What's attainable or achievable? Using that same example, you may not live near a grocery store, so adding fresh vegetable might be more challenging. So this is where you would decide how realistic is that goal for you. It might be more achievable if you have a garden in the summer, or you could be flexible. So if you weren't near a grocery store and still wanted to have adding vegetables, you could rely on frozen vegetables. Achievable and realistic go together. Remember, you want to experience the joy of reaching your goal rather than just feeling like you struggled or failed because it was unrealistic to begin with. We all want to see a reward for our efforts. And finally, the time frame for the goal. Yes, that does mean we have to be patient, even though we want to see that reward. Is the time frame going to be next week, next month, or year? Setting an end date gives you a target for when it will be achieved. Sometimes we just need to get through the day-to-day. Here's an example of a wellness vision. A completed wellness vision might sound something like, I'm stronger with energy to run in the yard with my children. My blood pressure's within normal ranges on a regular basis. When I feel stressed, I pause, collect myself, and incorporate positive methods such as breathing techniques, exercise, or prioritizing sleep. My motivators are feeling healthy, being a great role model, and avoiding blood pressure medication. I continue to work and evolve as I keep my habits in line with a sense of highest well-being. You're creating a mental picture of your optimal desired future state. This is the description of your best self. The idea is to build it out in words and in detail and to write it in first person. Your vision should feel authentic and give you energy and confidence. A wellness vision can be revisited and edited at any time. You want to keep the language positive. Instead of saying something like, I don't want to be in pain when I walk, say, I want to walk pain-free. I love the quote from Dr. Seuss. Our life is our story. Write well, edit often. Remember, healthy looks different and feels different for everyone. So let's look at other ways of using this 1 to 10 scale. Once you're working on your strategies or processes to reach your outcome or long-term goals, periodically use this scale to measure your progress. You can also use this scale to measure your confidence in the choices that you're making and make sure it's what's important for you to change. For example, say you want to walk more regularly and make a SMART goal of walking 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, around a park near your home. The idea, remember, is that you're specific, measurable, timely, all of that. Now, ask yourself, how confident am I in the short-term goal or ideal that I have? If your confidence is low on that scale, you may want to think of how appropriate was that strategy or SMART goal or habit change. Say you state, my confidence level is a 6, that I can complete my SMART goal as designed. You can then ask yourself 2 questions, looking at this from both sides. What made me choose a 6 and not a 4? This can help you reiterate what's motivating you. Or you can say, what would it take to get my confidence from a 6 to an 8? That might spark more ideas or help you refine the SMART goal. Do this assessment out of curiosity, not judgment. Here's an example of a 3-month goal. On the left, we have 3 ideas of the shorter term strategies or behaviors, habits, whatever you'd like to call them. On the right, we have what would be the corresponding outcome goal. You see, this is how they all relate and progress from the detailed action to the desired outcome. This is where we tie in with changes in behavior and habits. Remember the importance of positively framing these sentences. I will, I have, instead of I'd like to or I'll try. And when we're using the word I, we're referencing our identity. So we want to be positive. If we identify as an exerciser, a healthy eater, a non-smoker, it reinforces that sense of self much more than if I were to say, I'm trying to quit smoking, or I'd like to get more exercise, which doesn't really identify you. Here's a tool to get started. It's called the Wheel of Well-Being. The Wheel of Well-Being is a tool used to call attention to areas of your life that are already at a high level of satisfaction and can help you narrow down the areas to work on. So let's take a closer look at some of these triangles. Life satisfaction. What does that mean for you? Is it happiness? What is happiness to you? Is it just a lack of sadness or more? Does it involve having meaning, purpose, belonging, or serving something beyond yourself? I think self-compassion goes nicely here. Sometimes we can just give ourselves a break. Let's look at the nutrition triangle, one of my favorite topics. But still, we have to start small. Add rather than eliminate. Work on that new thing until you're consistent. Then perhaps look at the common stumbling blocks with diet. Not preparing something ahead. Most everything needs some advanced preparation. Thinking ahead can reduce the quick, easy, processed foods that it might be in your routine. It can also reduce that chaotic eating pattern we sometimes get into. Other stumbling blocks might be mindless snacking or late night eating or not recognizing how much sugar you're getting. So now let's move on to exercise. This is a great category to think about the saying, better is better than perfect. All movement counts. NEAT, N-E-A-T, stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis. So all of our activity counts. Don't wait to move until you have a gym membership or can get to the gym and use your membership or use that treadmill at home. Or the weather is good for walking. We can't wait for those times. At least not always. We might miss out on the benefits of simple daily movement if we think exercise has to be too formal. Exercise is so good for us. We know that it produces something in the brain called growth factor, which boosts our brain function. It boosts our neuron connections and our metabolism. And that's just part of it. It's more than I can go into here. So whether you choose formal or purposeful exercise or just deliberately move around more during the day, know that you're doing something wonderful for your body, well beyond burning calories. So let's look at the work-life balance. I did think of the pandemic. That's what popped in my mind for this category. I thought perspective fit nicely here too. Your point of view or attitude about something. This is a good time to zoom out. Maybe imagine looking down on your life from a helicopter. What would you see? What's happening there that's hopeful and good? What parts of your life are in your control and what are not? Can you set aside the things you don't know for sure rather than getting stuck? That can be a powerful exercise. How about the weight management triangle? That's a great place to start to get rid of the diet culture thoughts I mentioned earlier. We've internalized a lot of harmful messages from diet culture, good and bad foods, measuring, weighing, counting. Keep it simple, be flexible, be kind to yourself. We also must acknowledge that what worked for us in our 20s and 30s probably won't be the same now or as we age. If you're listening to this and you're in your 20s or 30s, plan ahead. We'll do one more. How about the stress management triangle? What would that mean? Better sleep, walking, meditating, training your attention. Meditation is just paying attention in a calm way. It's not necessarily about completely clearing your mind of all thoughts, which can be pretty daunting. It could be breathing, learning to breathe in a way that calms your nervous system. These can be very simple and we know they work. We have to get past the knowing but still not doing. Sleep can be in this category. Sleep's an area that we also have a gap of knowing but not doing. Loss of sleep is a source of chronic stress for the brain. We know that we're more irritable, have a harder time concentrating, and have more cravings when we lack sleep. Sleep and stress are great things to work on, but sometimes overlooked when we want to plunge into things more like weight loss and exercise. All of it matters. What would fall into that other category? Perhaps you're already in a pretty good place, so how could you take that to the next level? Maybe think about prevention, preventing disease or disease progression. Even if we feel like we're at our highest level, there's always room to learn and grow. There's a lot of creative tools out there to use for goal setting and calling attention to specific areas of your life that you want to work on. But a simple bubble map works too and helps with starting the brainstorming process. To avoid overwhelming yourself, here's a few more tips to help you succeed at creating your wellness vision. Choose just one part of your vision to focus on at a time. Once you choose that one thing, start with easier, smaller goals that move you closer to that one thing. I often think to myself in the moment, is what I'm doing getting me closer to or further from my outcome goals? Focus on things you can do or add instead of things you cannot do or must avoid. This will keep you focused on positive actions, not on things that get us hung up. You know, if your goal is to never snack on potato chips again, you'll end up thinking about potato chips a lot. Instead, make a goal to eat more of something nutritionally beneficial. Then your focus will be on including rather than excluding. Remember, all or nothing thinking is a cognitive distortion and it can feel like a trap. Again, use more process goals than outcome goals. In outcome goals, the results you want long-term. For example, controlling blood sugar or building muscle. Your process goals or strategies are the steps you take to get you to your outcome. For the outcome of better blood sugar, focus on the process of eating mindfully or walking after dinner. For the outcome of building muscle, focus on getting adequate lean protein in your diet and make time for resistance or weight training. These process goals give you many things to be celebrating along the way. A wellness vision can help you get and stay focused on what it feels and looks like to be your best self. I hope this presentation inspires you to feel more creative, be open to imagining whatever doesn't yet exist, but you really want, and enjoy the process of creating this vision. If you'd like to make an appointment to work with one of the coaches, you can contact the State Health Center, use the Premise Health app, you can email me, or you can call 855-200-6822. Thank you.